Spotify Wrapped, am I right? As somebody who uses mainly my iPod and listens to a lot of CDs, my Spotify Wrapped never really is representative of what music I loved this year. And so with 2025 coming to a close, we're nearing the end, thank God. I wanted to take a little bit and count down my top 10 favorite albums of the year. These are my favorites, okay? I made a video like this last year, and I absolutely loved getting to do it, so we're back at it again. Starting things off at number 10 is Matilda Mann. This is her debut album called Roxwell, and it is a smashing hit in my mind. Everything that is quintessentially Matilda Mann put into one project. With her airy, lush, and beautiful vocals, she sings to tracks like Tell Me That I'm Wrong and Girls on this album, which have both kind of made their way as some of my favorite slow/quiet songs of the year. Tell Me That I'm Wrong specifically, I've had on a couple playlists throughout this year. It really is lovely. What's newer for Matilda Mann, though, is her kind of full band songs, which she actually put a bunch of on this album. Oh, hey, Machi. You want to talk about Matilda Mann? This is not good behavior for the camera, dude. Why? You sit down, you take my seat, and then you bite me? This is a great look. Thank you. Autopilot and Meet Cute are both highlights, but I think my favorite kind of louder, more poppy song would be Dazed and Confused. Overall, definitely recommend Matilda Mann. Definitely recommend Roxwell. She's already released another single since this album, and everything, her whole discography is just a treat. So, highly recommend Matilda Mann. Next, coming in at number 9 is Lonesome is a State of Mind by Joe. Of all the albums this year, this might be the one I listened to the most. Whenever I was like, oh, what do I want to listen to right now? What am I going to put on? It was this one almost all the time. When I wanted something to just, I don't know. It fits a lot of energy levels. I'm not super familiar with Joe, or at least I haven't been until this album, but he did songs that you might know, such as End of Beginning. That was popular a couple years back, but with this album, he came back swinging with a journey that is relatively short, but packs a lot into, 13 songs? 11? That's pretty impressive. I'm a big fan of artists going this direction. We saw it last year starting, and this year it continues. A lot of shorter albums, but they still cover a lot of ground, keeping the very best of the best. And that is what Joe did here. Songs like Basic Being Basic, Back on You, they just give you this energy. You just kind of want to bounce a little bit when you're listening to this. Also kind of got kind of a Tame Impala thing going on, just a little bit, but I would say that Joe's music really feels his own. A lot of playful ideas, a lot of fun ideas here, and it's an album that'll make you feel good when you listen to it. Next, coming in at number 8 is Paper Doll by Quinnie, an album that I don't have a physical copy of because I don't think there is one. If there was, I would have it. If there is, let me know. Paper Doll by Quinnie is an album that has been kind of the background ambience for my year. Whenever I need something soft and vibey and just makes you feel at peace, it's been Paper Doll. I feel like Quinnie first took off a couple years ago with their debut album called Flounder. Specifically the song Touch Tank, I know, blew up on like TikTok and things like that. And it is a really great song and a great album. I listened to that many a time, and I would say that I think a lot of the songs on that album are stronger / more memorable than what is here on Paper Doll. But what is here is much more sonically cohesive, and it just puts you in kind of a flow state at certain points. It's tough for me to remember the names of some of these, but I certainly remember every single melody and song that is played musically. I mean, listen to the end of Run Around the Block Again. And then the very next song, For You, also an incredible outro. The instrumentals mixed with these kind of airy and floaty vocals just get you feeling a certain way, and it's magical. Only feeling I've ever got like that is from Quinnie. This next one, oh man, this next one. Coming in at number 7 is an album called The Dream by the fABLEs. Ever heard of the fABLEs? Oh, what, you haven't? That's because 2025 is the year. It's a brand new supergroup by Ash and Phineas, two of my favorite artists ever, and they both made solo projects last year that also made this video last year in my top 10 albums. So yes, of course I like it. The main thing that I wasn't expecting necessarily out of the fABLEs is for them to have their own unique sound. I was expecting more of a fusion between what makes Phineas Phineas and what makes Ash Ash, and kind of put them together, and that's what the fABLEs would be. And to some extent it is, but in many others they've created kind of their own live band feeling, like, I don't know, everything that they sing kind of feels like it could be from a musical in a way. I think one of the hardest genres or styles to really nail is having the male vocal and the female vocal as a duet. And here in The Dream, they really killed it all throughout this entire album. Every single song is a duet. The first single they released as the fABLEs, The Little Mess You Made, has followed me throughout this entire year. And then they did The Hudson, which is also fantastic. David's Brother, Lake George, Home Sweet Home, I think is the last one. All top-notch stuff. And of course, the production from Phineas is fantastic. You wouldn't expect anything less. They've done some cool music videos, they've done some cool shows, and man, I hope the fABLEs sticks around because I really want to see what their next project is going to be. Next, and oh man, this is where things start to heat up. See, last year in 2024, we were treated to good music that was just everywhere, like it was ubiquitous, and we were looking at every corner and having, in my opinion, one of the best years in music, at least in my lifespan, that I can remember. This year, we didn't start off so hot, but as the year progressed, we did start to get some good stuff. And one of the big ones, the heavy hitters, is Olivia Dean, The Art of Loving. Now, first of all, I just want to clear the room. And say, I've been listening to Olivia Dean before it was cool, okay? A couple of years ago, she came out with Messy, which is such a fantastic album. That was 2023, I want to say. And specifically the song Dive off of that album. Chef's kiss. That whole album for me it's close between that and The Art of Loving. But either way, 2025, we've waited a couple years. Olivia Dean started to pick up on things like TikTok with songs from that previous album. So everyone was kind of eager to see what she was going to do next. And then, sure enough, we got this album called The Art of Loving, and it's a smashing success. 2025 is Olivia Dean's big breakout moment. And guys, R&B is so back. Watching and hearing her perform, I haven't seen her personally, but just like on videos online and stuff, she is just brilliant on stage, and her voice carries so well. She has so much control, so much power, and she just delivers a stunning performance all throughout this album. And then, maybe one of the best songs of the entire year, Man I Need.
Already gave you the time and the place, so don't be shy. Just come be the man I need. Tell me you got something to give. I want it. I kinda like it.
Olivia Dean, R&B. It's back. It's here. Get with it. Check this album out if you haven't yet. The Art of Loving. Coming in at number 5, we have I'm Only Myself by Lola Young. Man, I adore Lola Young. I adore this artist. She has had such a tough go about this year. She had a tour plan that ended up getting canceled. But with that, I feel so strongly about Lola Young because she has such a genius and genuine creative mind, and I find myself so inspired by her. Her last album, This Wasn't Meant For You Anyways, really caught my attention just last year. I didn't know much of her before then. She really took off when that album came out with the song Messy.
Cause I'm too messy, and then I'm too fucking clean. You told me get a job, and you asked where the hell I've been.
But I think this album, I'm Only Myself, is her best work. I would say the song of the summer for 2025, for me, was One Thing.
Break your bed and then the sofa. I wanna pull you close. Everybody wants to know you, but me. I only want one thing. I don't even
Yeah, it hit really good this summer. Walk All Over You, Post-Sex Clarity, Spiders. Dude, I'm just looking at the back of this album. Sad Sob Story, that one might be my favorite on this album. Dealer, that's another really good one. Not Like That Anymore is also... This whole album, top to bottom, dude, is insane. At first glance, if you're just looking at the album, you're looking at the aesthetics of it, the kind of exaggerated themes of sex and everything like that, you might feel like it's not that much and just kind of the same stuff you hear every day. But if you listen to the words and you listen to the emotion and the power behind what Lola Young sings here, it is one of the most heart-shattering and just beautiful albums you will ever hear. Bold statement, I know. Give this one a listen. Get ready to scream your heart out. Lola Young. All right, we're starting to heat up a little bit here, getting into the top 4. First, starting with Oblivion by Alice Phoebe Lou. First, I'd like to start and say Alice Phoebe Lou is one of my favorite artists of all time. I represent Alice Phoebe Lou. I wear her hat, okay? I got from Claro last year and Alice Phoebe Lou opened. I wear that hat like 50% of days, and I'm proud. Alice Phoebe Lou rocks, dude. I really started listening to Alice Phoebe Lou last year, but her actual previous album came out in 2023 called Shelter. And dude, I listened to Shelter so much, and I still listen to Shelter this year a ton, waiting for this album to come out because it just came out like a month or two ago. Oh, you again. Machi, saying something? You want to say something to the people? Something nice to say to the people after being so mean earlier? Do you... Oh boy. Alice Phoebe Lou has this incredible ability to create some of the softest and most beautiful kind of vibey songs that you'll ever hear, but also then in the same project amp things up to a level where you're just grooving a little bit. The title track, Oblivion, is kind of this slowly moving, haunting track. She does some really neat things with the instrumentation and her vocals as well in that one. Also, the visual aesthetics of Alice Phoebe Lou are like exactly what I'm chasing. I mean, look at the cover art for this, okay? You see this cover art, and then you open it in the CD. Dude, so nice. Big fan of Alice Phoebe Lou, big fan of Oblivion. Check this one out when you want a nice quiet afternoon. Now coming in at number 3 is Bon Iver's SABLE fABLE. fABLE SABLE. No, SABLE fABLE. Such a cool concept for an album here by Bon Iver, who I just figured out you say it Bon Iver and not Bon Iver, which is what I've been saying for the majority of this year. Either way, Bon Iver has done numerous other albums in the past, and I've listened to some of them kind of here and there, but this is the first one that really caught my attention, mostly actually because of the striking album art, which really did catch my attention. And I'm so glad I gave it a listen, because SABLE fABLE is kind of this cool thing that happens where Bon Iver has kind of created 2 mini albums in one, the SABLE and then the fABLE part. And they kind of tell 2 little baby stories with 2 little arcs. And listening to the whole thing is a neat experience. It's something a little different. A couple favorites from this album for me. Short Story, really good. Everything is Peaceful Love. That's the one that probably has gained the most popularity. Really, that one's groovy, man. And then my very favorite, There's a Rhythm.
There's a rhythm.
I don't know how long this song is, but it's got to be at least a couple minutes, and well, duh. You kind of get into this meditative flow state with there's a rhythm. And it's just kind of this comforting reminder that life there's a rhythm to it, and everything kind of comes and goes when it's supposed to, and it brings you a lot of peace. And so I love There's a Rhythm from this album, really special to me. And I think you will love this album if you give it a listen. SABLE fABLE. Album number 2, holy moly, we're heating up. It's Lucy Dacus, Forever is a Feeling.
Flicking embers into daffodils,
Man, this one brings a smile to my face, even just saying it, man. Lucy Dacus, ooh. I've always enjoyed Lucy Dacus. I actually first caught wind of her, probably a way that at least a few people have, through a little something called Boy Genius. That's Phoebe Bridgers, Lucy Dacus, Julian Baker, all together in their super group. They've made some incredible songs. Specifically, their album, The Record, from 2023 is fantastic. But Lucy Dacus's solo album from this year, Forever Is a Feeling, is just something truly special, and truly special for Lucy because it's one of the first times I feel that we have a whole album that kind of feels like a love song in a way. A lot of it feels happy and nice and warm. Not all of it, but a lot of it. And I think it's a nice, stark difference from a lot of what we hear in, some of her past work, but also Boy Genius, which is these much more, I was going to say dark, but I can't find the word for it. These much harsher topics and much harsher feeling songs, but Forever Is a Feeling is soft and light and fluffy and friendly. Big Deal, Ankles, Limerence, all lovely. Best Guess is probably her most poppy kind of album encapsulating track in this whole thing. The title track, Forever Is a Feeling, is a bop. You'll get grooving in that one. And then there's a collaboration with Hozier on this one in the form of Bullseye, also excellent. This album definitely followed me all the way throughout the year because it released fairly early in 2025, and I'm very grateful for that because I got to listen to it all year long. We also got a deluxe, actually a couple of deluxes on the albums that I already talked about too, which deluxes for me, hit and miss. Sometimes I like them, sometimes I don't. I didn't even talk about a lot of them. But this one, the From the Archives version of Forever Is a Feeling, is lovely. We got a couple other renditions of a couple of the songs in here that are more acoustic and quiet, a live version, and a couple of brand new songs too. It's great. I would even say that deluxe is probably the definitive way to listen to the album, which I don't say often about the deluxes. So anyways, that's Forever Is a Feeling. That's Lucy Dacus. Please do yourself a favor. Check this one out. It'll make you smile and feel warm inside just a little bit. Okay, moving on. Okay, now before we get to number one, I want to talk about a couple of honorable mentions, little singles, EPs, and other things that I just gotta mention if I'm talking about music in 2025. First, some ones I got physical copies of. Big release from Sabrina Carpenter with Man's Best Friend. Obviously, Taylor Swift, Life of a Showgirl. I think these are both fine. Yes, we had Hope We Have Fun by Mount Joy. This one hits. Pink Lady, I think, is one of the songs from this. Really freaking good. Automatic by the Lumineers, also great. Ooh, Bells Larsen. What is this album called? Blurring Time. That's right, Blurring Time. Dude, Bells Larsen is a transgender artist who created this album where he duetted himself pre-transition and post-transition. So he kind of has these two different voices. The first is like a generally higher voice, and then he harmonizes with his post-transition lower voice. And together, he just kind of created this magical experience that is it's so heartfelt and melancholy, and it made me cry. It's gorgeous. Blurring Time. This is a good one. Ooh, we had V by Doja Cat this year. This was also super fun. I'm gonna be the first to say, I generally with Doja Cat, I go both ways. Some of her stuff I really like, some of her stuff I didn't really like. But V is my favorite from her, I think. Kind of seemed like it went on under the radar. I didn't hear a ton of people talk about it. Very 80s, a lot of synth. It sounds very classic. It's great. Love it. Lord, Virgin. This was extremely popular this summer. I kind of thought it might be Virgin Summer. It didn't end up really feeling like that to me, but still a great album. This one, if I had room on my top 10, I would have put it From the Pyre, The Last Dinner Party. This album hits. Last year, Prelude to Ecstasy was excellent. Now, From the Pyre is excellent. They leaned much more into the rock side of things than the pop this time around, and I'm glad they did. I'm happy that it feels new instead of more of the same. Rapid Fire. We also got The Subway by Chappell Roan. Maybe my favorite song of the year. Dude, have you heard this song? Cross Your Mind by Shelley. Stop it right now. Maybe my favorite song of the year. Crap! The Giver by Chaperone, insane. For Myself and For You by Olivia Barton, also made me cry. Such a good album. Breach by 21 Pilots. Clancy last year was really good. Breach this year, almost just as good as Clancy, but it just hit at a different time for me personally. And lastly, a couple of projects that I had some personal stake or involvement in that I just gotta mention. Firstly is Before Jane's Summer's Go EP, which came out at the very end of summer 2025, and it was my a daily listen for me, almost for at least a week or two, where I would play it every morning. I would literally wake up and me and Meg would be eating breakfast. I'd be playing Summer's Go. This is by one of my great friends, and it's just a 4-song EP, but it's very comforting, and he manages to do a lot with only a few instruments, and that's why I think it's a lot of fun. So go check that one out. I also have to mention How It Hurts, How It Heals by new artist Olera, who produced her album with me this year. And dude, I am so proud of this album. I mean, it out of all the projects I've ever worked on, like, this has gotta be one of the coolest ever. We got to perform a couple songs from it live. We've already done a few performances, and Olera's Spotify is starting to kind of take off a little bit, at least in my world. And yeah, if you want to be there to witness it, check it out below. Give it a listen. How It Hurts, How It Heals by Olera. Okay. Enough yapping for me. I know that was a lot. Now let's go ahead and move to number 1. Machi. I mean, we had artists like Mac Miller, Hayley Williams, Morgan Wallen. Justin Bieber came back this year. We had Bad Bunny, Somber, Blood Orange, Clips, Geese, K-pop Demon Hunters. Anything? You don't know any of them. All right. And now, ladies and gentlemen, the moment you've all been waiting for. In my mind, there was really only one album that stood out to me as the clear winner for my favorite album of this year. Never before have I heard sounds of such classic jazz fused with those of modern pop in such a successful manner. A Matter of Time by Laufey is a masterclass in storytelling and creating an identity. When I think of this album, not only can I hear it and see it, you can almost feel it and like smell it. It creates its own universe. From the very first notes of Clockwork at the beginning of this album to the incredibly catchy and earworm that is Lover Girl, into one of the most heartfelt songs that I've ever heard, at least in recent memory, called Snow White. I mean,
all of the ways in which I failed myself, I failed the world all the same.
Every track on this is just a whole experience, and bundled together, they are so sonically cohesive, and the feelings you feel throughout are so vivid and real. Laufey has just done a beautiful job at creating a one-of-a-kind album. After hearing A Matter of Time, and by the way, the concert for this show was also fantastic. I also went back and explored the rest of her discography, which also is fantastic, but I definitely think A Matter of Time is the most brilliant. For me, this is the only answer, the best album of 2025. It's certainly my favorite one. If you have not heard this, give it a try. You're going to be sucked back into a time of the past, and I encourage you to kind of let yourself sink into it, let yourself be absorbed by this, and see how you feel after. Ooh, everyone say ooh, ah. Laufey, everybody. I mean, what can you say? Everybody, thank you so much for watching my little album roundup this year. If there are any that you felt like I missed, or maybe you want to leave a list of your own, I would love to hear what your picks were down in the comments below. Feel free to leave them down there. I'll respond to every single one. And with that, same time next year.
Mr. Eclectic Alan Poe. Did you ever stop and give a